What's going on, y'all? My name is Kree. I have a webcam, I have a microphone, I have zero tops, and I have an opinion. After Justice Hunters drops, Dragon Tail is going to be one of the best decks in the format, at least at a regional level, maybe even at a YCS. And I'm going to explain why. Alright, so first things first, before I yap about it, may as well introduce you guys to the cards in case you missed it. So they all the main deck monsters do the exact same thing when they're used as fusion materials and sent to the graveyard, which is kind of a pain against Malice because of Shifter, but nevertheless. When they're sent to the graveyard as fusion material for a fusion summon, set a Dragon Tail spell or trap directly from your deck to the field. That seems pretty good. Alright, anyways, on to the other effects. Lucius on summon is a Stratos, adding a Dragon Tail monster from your deck to your hand. Femina is a quick effect during the main phase, discard her, and fusion summon a dragon or spellcaster from your extra deck. So because it's a quick effect, you can dodge things like Imperm, Revealer, or even destruction effects. It's kind of crazy. Up next is Ulgra. If it's in your graveyard, you can target a spellcaster, Dragon Tail monster in your graveyard, which are the other two. Place him on the bottom of your deck, and if you do, add that one to your hand. Last but not least for the main deck monsters is Parn. This card sends to the graveyard as fusion material. If a face-up fusion monster you control is destroyed by an opponent's card effect while this card is in your graveyard, you can place this card on the bottom of your deck, and if you do, special summon a non-fusion Dragon Tail monster from your graveyard. So, ideally, if this guy somehow gets sent to your graveyard, you're going to be special summoning out Lucius. And Lucius is going to grab Femina. Femina is going to get you into your other fusion bodies. So, it's just correct follow-up stuff, right? Right. On to the spells. We have Ketsu Dragon Tail. Add a Dragon Tail monster from your deck to your hand. Then, if you want second and your opponent controls a monster, you can fusion summon a dragon or spellcaster using monsters from your hand or field as material. Why is this card so good? Okay. Rahu Dragon Tail. Fusion summon the Dragon Tail fusion monster from your extra deck using monsters from your hand, deck, and or field as material, but then you're locked into fusion summons from the extra deck for the rest of the turn. Yeah, this card is definitely going to go to 1 eventually, because, well, on the plus side, the Dragon Tail monsters, the fusion monsters at least, require you to use cards in your hand, such as your hand traps, which means this card inherently isn't as strong because you can't just top deck it in a deck full of like 80 traps and spells and then expect it to work out. You need to be on Monster Mash for this deck to be good, but this deck being Monster Mash is pretty good because of hand traps, but we're going to get to that later. Alright, Dragon Tail Flame is one of the 2 trap cards we know so far. Target face up spell on the field negates effects until the end of the turn, and then you can place a Dragon Tail card from your graveyard or banishment on the bottom of your deck, except for Dragon Tail Flame, then draw a card. So, this can recycle the traps. pretty good. And then, Dragon Tail Horn, target attack position monster on the field, returns to the hand or extra deck, then you can place a Dragon Tail card from your graveyard or banishment on the bottom of your deck, except for Horn, draw a card. Yeah, traps can return each other to the main deck, or to the bottom of the main deck so you don't brick on them again. Then you can draw a card. It's absurd. But what else is absurd is the fusion monsters, starting with Dragon Tail Grammel. This is arguably one of the better end board pieces. All it takes is a Dragon Tail monster plus 1 monster in the hand. When you activate a Dragon Tail card or effect, you can target a card your opponent controls, destroy it. It's just that easy. However, because it is a when effect, your Dragon Tail card, like your Horn or your Flame, they have to be the last thing in the chain before you can Grammel effect, which is unfortunate, because it's like the Lady Labyrinth of the Silver Castle. So it has to directly respond to your Dragon Tail card or effect, which is unfortunate, but it's kind of balanced. And then the other fusion shares this clause as well. If it's in the graveyard and 2 or more monsters are sent to the graveyard at the same time while this card is in your graveyard, special summon it but banish it when it leaves the field. It comes back. Thankfully, you're going to be fusion locked by the time you get 2 bodies out. Or are you? Alright. Dragon Tail Ethereum. 1 Dragon Tail monster plus 1 plus monsters in the hand. So you can just use a Dragon Tail and a monster in your hand, or you can use a Dragon Tail and multiple monsters in your hand. The reason you don't want to do this is because if this card is fusion summoned, you can target monsters on the field or in any of the graveyards, or in any of the graveyards up to the number of monsters uses material from the hand, return them to the hand. So this is a this is a Firewall Dragon on summon basically, which is really cool. So you use this during the turn 1 combo just to recur resources back to your hand. But I can imagine using this with something like, I don't know, a quick effect fusion effect to summon it during your opponent's turn with a bunch of dead cards in your hand. Like if you had dead Mulcharmies or something, for example, all of a sudden you're bouncing either your own resources or their monsters on board, stopping their combo dead in the tracks, which is why the deck is, in my opinion, going to be so good. But I do have a sample deck list to show you guys. Give me 1 second. So this is kind of a haphazard deck list I came up with. The reason this deck is going to be crazy, in my opinion, is because the main deck engine is just it's just really compact. You got 20 cards up here that you can see, 3 of each name, 3 of each spell, 1 of each trap, 20 cards, and then I'm choosing to play 3 Polymerization just because it's going to be cracked. If you open 2 Dragon Tails, you're immediately beaming out either Altherian or Grammel. And then you're setting the other 2 from deck. Or setting the 3rd spell, or the other spell that you see. Yeah. 1 spell, 1 trap for each name. It's kind of crazy. And then, as you can see, it's just straight up monster non-engine. 3 Full House, 3 Ash, 3 Nib, 3 Veiler, 1 Mag, 3 Druid's Worm, 1 Baldrake, 3 Polys, those could be anything. And then for... Thankfully, the Spellcaster and Dragon generic pool is kind of shallow. We do have Mysterion, which is kind of crazy. Well, kind of cool, actually. If a monster uses its activated effect to special summon itself or a monster with the same original type, you can target one of those special summon monsters, banish that monster, also banish all monsters on the field with the same original type. So, I think it does stuff against Mysterion. I don't know. I haven't used Mysterion before this deck came out, to be honest. We also have Trishula in a much cooler fashion. So, pretty cool stuff. Then you just have Magnum and Guardian Chimera for crackback, and then just generic stuff. These 2 are in here because of Metaltronus, and then this sideboard is just completely ignorable. But I do have a replay for you guys. In case you missed it, it's very standard. It's just what 1 Lucius gets you. Lucius for Femina. Femina for Altherian. Altherian grab back Femina. Lucius to set the branded fusion spell. Dump those 2, specifically those 2, Femina and Olgura. Set your traps, and then Olgura, add Femina back to your hand. So, if we want to look at this end board here, off of Lucius and a monster, you get an attack position bounce, so your normal summon is gone, but then you can also chain this to bounce it. So you're going to bounce the normal summon, put either Lucius or the branded fusion back to the bottom of the deck, and then draw an additional card. And then Flame, you can activate to negate the spell card effect, negating it, and then putting Horn back on the bottom of the deck, drawing cards. So you're drawing, so you have 2 interruptions, and then you're going to draw 2 cards. And then you could either do Femina effect, then chain Grammel, or if an opportunity arose, you can chain Grammel to one of these guys, pop a card on the board, and then Femina is going to bring out another Altherian, and it's just... Oh, it's just that easy. But, like, just the fact that this deck, it has interruption and just inherent recyclability, and because the trap cards can retrieve things from a banished pile, maybe you do up the count on these guys. I don't know yet. This deck is very early in the stages of development. But with that being said, y'all, this has been Cree. Like the video if you found today's content entertaining, informative, helpful, or insightful in any way, shape, or form. Comment down below what build of Dragon Tail you would like to see, what you're going to be working on, what you're going to be experimenting with. Subscribe if you have not already, as I am on the road to 500, and then we'll be on the road to 1,000. And as always, until next time, have a good time.